Very distinguished colleagues, the sixth and very last order of the day is a motion standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Annie Anthony Okori on the urgent need to investigate with an intention to halt the continuous unwholesome practices of chemical ripening of fruits among fruit sellers in Nigeria. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Annie Anthony Okori to move the motion.
Distinguished Senator.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it's my pleasure to present this motion, a very important motion that touches on the lives of every citizen of this country. The motion is on urgent need to investigate with an intention to halt the continuous unwholesome practices of chemical ripening of fruits among fruit sellers in Nigeria. The Senate, aware that ripening of fruits is a natural physiological process and makes fruits sweeter, more palatable, edible, nutritious, softer, and attractive. Fruit ripening is a highly regulated, irreversible process that involves highly coordinated, complex biochemical and physiological changes. Also aware that the artificial ripening of fruits involves the external application of chemicals and other agents to achieve faster and more uniform ripening of fruits. Informed that among the widely used artificial ripening agents are ethylene and methyl jasmonate, which have been reported to be non-toxic for human consumption. However, they are relatively expensive. In many developing countries, low-cost chemicals such as calcium carbide, ethylene glycol, and ethyphone are reported to be commonly used to artificially trigger the ripening processes of fruits. Also informed that the cosmetic quality of artificially ripened fruits will increase, but organic qualities, meaning the taste, the color, and smell, nutrition value, and shelf life are depreciated when fruits are subjected to treatment without considering maturity status. Worried that nutrition experts and regulatory agencies such as NAFDAC, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, have warned against fruit ripening with calcium carbide, describing it as a harmful practice that endangers human lives. Also worried that calcium carbide contains impurities such as arsenic, lead particles, phosphorus, etc., that cause several health hazards such as cancer, heart, kidney, liver failures, neurological disorders, intestinal problems, skin damage, mouth ulcers, and so on, certain that the practice of ripening fruits with dangerous chemicals are being on the increase among fruit sellers in Nigeria. Also saddened that many of these fruit sellers are ignorant of the health hazards posed by consumption of artificially ripened fruits, but driven by the incremental profit that made it much profit, as most customers prefer to patronize the artificially ripened fruits due to its enhanced cosmetic appearance, not knowing that they are buying poison. And also notes that the use of some of these chemicals have been banned in many countries of the world, but they are still being used indiscriminately in Nigeria. Accordingly, resolves to, number one, urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to investigate the practice of chemical ripening of fruits in Nigeria. Number two, also urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, as well as the FCCPC, to increase the level of awareness by continuous sensitization and public enlightenment on the hazardous implications of chemical ripening of fruits. Further urge NAFDAC and Nigerian Customs Service to ensure that imported fruits, especially apples, are not preserved with harmful chemicals. And finally, equally urge NAFDAC and FCCPC to commence regular visits to fruit markets to check the practice of chemical ripening of fruits. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, you can make contribution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Amos Yohana Adamawa North.
Yes.
I rise to second this motion, very, very important motion that has to do with the health of Nigerians. I so second.
Distinguished Senator, this time not Abdul Fattah.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I am Sadiq Sulaiman Umar. I represent the good and decent people of Kwara North. Mr. President, this problem is a very serious problem in this country, and we don't seem to see the immediate effect because some of these impurities, especially arsenic, lead, work slowly in the human body. And at a point, you see liver problems, kidney problems, gastrointestinal problems that you might not be able to necessarily trace it to these impurities. But if you look at the overall health implication, this is destroying our society. You go to hospitals today and you look at the data, you see people coming down daily with ailments. And therefore, Mr. President, I think we should take this very seriously and urge all the agencies, as it has been stated, to halt this thing as soon as is possible, because we are losing too many lives in this country. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you for brevity. I hope that Senator Izunaso will do the same.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Osita Izunaso. I represent Imo West. I'm going to be as brief as the last speaker. Mr. President, let me commend Professor Tony Ani for bringing this motion. This motion might just look as if it's an ordinary motion, but it is extremely sensitive, Mr. President. Nigerians are not aware of what we consume. Every day, go to the farmer's market, you will see people buying fruits that you don't even know where these fruits are coming from. Buy fruit, you don't know which farm is producing the fruit and how is it being produced. And these are all the cases of GMO, genetically modified organism. In one way or the other, we are eating what we do not know about. Mr. President, I don't even think we are going to waste much time on this motion, but than to refer to the relevant agencies. I've looked at the prayers. When we come for the amendment of the prayers, I think it's only one prayer that will sustain here, because there is need for proper sensitization. There's need for Nigerians to know. This information is not in the public domain. People are just consuming what they don't even know about. And it's not only the poor people to say, but even the rich people. You will ask your cook to go and buy things for you. You are not following him to the market to buy those things. And you don't even know where those things are produced. And particularly the imported items into the country. So I think we have to look at it very seriously, Mr. President. I want to commend him once more for bringing this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
The Swiss Senator Oshomole.
Mr. Adam Salu, Eric Oshomole, representing Edo North. I want to lend my voice in commending Professor Ani, who has raised this very, very important motion. As a matter of fact, all of us, senators here, we are all victims of these malpractices. But like Senator Zenaso said, whether we know it or not, when you ask people to go and buy you fruit, you don't know where they buy it from. And it is now common whether you want to buy banana, you want to buy orange, you want to buy any of the fruits, you find that they use these chemicals to fasten the wrapping and all that and all that. So what ordinarily should be a source of nutrition become an hazard that you consume. And as people have observed in our hospitals, you find all kinds of new forms of ailments everywhere. I do not think people are acting out of ignorance. I think it is this craze to make money anyhow, anywhere. My shock, Mr. President, is that we have a whole outfit called NAFDAC. If we as senators here, whose responsibility is to make law, are aware of this very dangerous malpractice, how can it be assumed that NAFDAC does not know? Therefore, when we come to the prayers, I will suggest that we do not only urge NAFDAC, but that we condemn their indifference, their negligence of duty in allowing these poisonous items to be hawked around all over the country. I want to thank you again, Annie, for this very well informed. You stated all the details, and I think today you have shown to us that when you have professor as a senator, you can have a rare combination. Mr. President, I support this motion, and I urge us to be hard on NAFDAC, to live up to their responsibility and justify the taxpayers' money that is used to maintain them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Dike Plank.
Mr. President of the Senate, Chairman of the National Assembly, distinguished colleagues, I rise to lean my voice very strongly on this motion. Inorganic action on our fruits goes a long way to affect our health. I would like us not to even remain on the issue of chemical ripening of fruits, but also the chemical preservation of the fruit, and then the chemical application of chemicals in terms of drugs, even to fish and other foods we eat. I feel that there is a strong need for us to stress on the regulation, supervision of food, whether meat or fruits. It is unfortunate that the chemicals we take from food ends up diffusing in us and leading to cancer. I would like to stress that this motion with the prayers should be totally looked into and also be extended to NAFDAC in particular, to be concerned about the processes used in the conservation or protection of food, vis-a-vis rice, what chemicals are used for the preservation of life to last longer. Any shortcut, even spiritually, is wrong. There's no shortcut to heaven, and there's no shortcut to maturity. Anybody who takes shortcut, there's no shortcut in exams. And therefore, any shortcut for ripening is dangerous on us. It's a very serious issue. Thank you so much.
Mr. President, I feel that I must request your permission so as to contribute to this, to make my contribution in respect of this motion. Mr. President, this is a worrisome trend in this country. Very, very worrisome. And it's really frightening. And it affects all of us. Don't be surprised that the banana you took yesterday, or the pineapple that you squeezed yesterday or you ate, or even pawpaw, and the one you're going to take this afternoon has been contaminated by this chemical. Because the sellers are in the habit of putting chemical on these fruits that I mentioned, so that they can get them more ripe or look more beautiful in the eyes of buyers. And this is what is going on all over Nigeria, especially in Abuja and elsewhere in Lagos. It's a terrible situation. And that's why we have all manner of people having cancers and what have you, ailments that you don't even know where they are coming from. It's a terrible situation. It's a very, very bad situation, and we need to up our game in order to deal with this trend. Because we cannot fold our arms. Few individuals, unpatriotic individuals killing our people, creating something that you cannot even describe, something inhuman. And nobody is doing anything about it. NAFDAC, yes, NAFDAC is trying, but I don't think they have created any means of dealing with these people. These people, that are creating health havoc around the country. We must up our game. We should find a system where there will be random checks. The sellers will be called, or there will be, these items will be checked and find out those who are involved in this kind of practice in a random manner. Once this is done, they will now feel that it's no longer safe for them to do so, that they will be arrested and prosecuted. Otherwise, this kind of trend will destroy the health of our people. We must do something about it. It looks so, people might not take it seriously, but it's something that has serious effects on our lives. This is what is going on now. You see a very ripe banana, not knowing that it is chemical that made it to be so. Sometimes they put them in drainages. In gutter, put them inside there, and then later in the morning they pick them up and wash them and sell to the public. So, Mr. President, we shouldn't joke with this matter. We should go to the root of it, get those involved, NAFDAC, they should be told that this is what is happening, and they should bring out a means of, something that can be done, a system that will fish out these people and deal with them so that others will not go the same way. Mr. President, please, I urge everybody, let's look at this matter, give it the attention it deserves. I say so, Mr. President.
Is there anybody opposed?
Thank you, Excellency, for your kind consideration. Well, let me commend Senator Ani for this. As a senator, we hold our constituents the responsibility to speak about issues like this. It's not only on those concrete issues, but these supposedly abstract issues are issues that has to do with our lives. So I will say, and I will urge us to let us start the advocacy from here. Let us start the advocacy from here now. All that we have said is about advocacy. And let this tape be played to Nigerians that at the Senate, we are particularly concerned about those fruits that they consume out there, those fruits that are not good for their health, those fruits that can damage their internal organs. Like the kidney, you can see if you go to the hospital, particularly tertiary hospitals, you will see young children, young girls of 16, 18 coming down with kidney issues. Then you wonder, is it that the person has consumed so much alcohol that has damaged the person's kidney, or what could be leading to it? Distinguished ladies, distinguished senators, these are part of the things that are destroying our children. These are part of the things that are giving parents creating unnecessary ways of spending money. So I urge all of us to support this bill and give it this motion, in the sense that it is something that all of us are very particular about, and together we say no to this way of treating or dealing with our fruits or preserving our fruits. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so submit.
Well, I thank Mr. President for this privilege. My name is Ekong Samson. I speak for Akwa Ibom South. This is the type of motion that readily commands the attention of the 10th Senate because it's a lifesaver. A case has been well made, and I share that opinion that we must step up the level of advocacy. It's all about getting the people aware of what they are taking in, and then tasking the agencies to increase their surveillance. These are killers. What we consume sometimes are killers. They offer no respite, and they increase the number of patients in our clinics and health centers. So this type of bill is quite commendable. It raises a number of issues about our healthcare and then challenges us to be aware of what we take in. It also gives an assignment to NAFDAC and other bodies to step up their surveillance. And inappropriate measures, inappropriate cases, sanctions must be meted out to some people who, instead of protecting us, are sending a number of people to their graves, to their early graves, to their untimely graves, and death as it were. So I think this is the type of motion that creates a challenge on all of us, and I share the strong passion. I align with the type of opinion that the motion should be commended, should be supported. We must create the type of environment where our healthcare system is safeguarded. We must drive the type of advocacy that we need to drive so that people are aware of what they are consumed. There's a real interest in taking in fruits, but what type of fruits are we taking in? Are we consuming the type of fruits that are sending us to our early graves, or the type of fruits that enrich us as human beings? So I really commend our colleague for the thoughts that have been captured in this motion. I support it. Thank you.
Senator Pam.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity to support my friend for bringing this motion so that we can be able to guide ourselves against certain excesses of human behaviors. Sir, I would like to say here that I'm one of the victims of such dirty acts of these vendors who sell fruits. There's a time I asked one of them that, is it carbide that make it like this? And the seller told me yes. This, I'm happy that the mover has brought us to be aware of certain dirty acts of some people that make us uncomfortable in this our country. So it would be better for us, despite trying to tell NAFDAC and other agencies of government that are responsible for monitoring these activities, we should be conscious of the fact that before buying any of these things, we have to know where it came from. And if you look at the environment they sell these things, is so bad. And if the agencies too can monitor them and give them the advice they should sell these things at the right places and find out the modalities they use that in selling these things, I think it will save us. This, I would say that is one of the best motion that has come to us as Nigerians, and this place I believe that will do the best to safeguard it. Thank you very much.
Yes, distinguished Senator.
President, I'm Senator Anthony Siakoyaro, representing the excellent people of Gombe South from Gombe State. What I wanted to chip in, Mr. President, is while the debate was going on, I see very serious and more emphasis concentrated on NAFDAC. I think we should do a little bit of research and expand the agencies that we will include into this, such as FGCCP and
and others, and other health agencies in particular, in controlling communal health and the rest. There is no more good time to attend to this than now, particularly to we senators or legislators. As you enter this tea room, Mr. President, you will see all those things there. The moment Olamilekon enters that tea room, you will touch banana. Then that banana, you have to look at it, and but there is a technical way of observing for banana, which I know naturally. Naturally grown and ripe banana, you will see some dotted spots, black or pinkish like this on the back. Then you see smooth one, that one must be from carbide, Mr. President. The one that you see dotted, this is a naturally ripe phenomena. And so therefore, but this is nationwide, it's worldwide because we import a lot of apple, for example. Those apples also imported need to be checked and all that. So my point is that let's increase the number of agencies that will, keep responsibility on them to check this rather than NADAC alone. Thank you, Mr. President.
Positively debated to a point where I looked at the floor and nobody raised his hand. So I'm happy about it. But let me just draw your attention to the very seriousness, the serious issues raised in this motion. Also worried that calcium carbide contains impurities such as arsenic, am I right? Professor Ani? I'm right in the pronunciation? Arsenic, lead particles, phosphorus, etc., that cause several health hazards such as cancer, heart, kidney, and liver failures, neurological disorders, intestinal problems, skin damage, mouth ulcers. Saddened that the practice of ripening of fruits with dangerous chemicals have been on the increase among fruit sellers in Nigeria. I believe that looking at it, just that paragraph alone is a locus classicus. It is a very sad thing to happen to a country. People are dying, dropping dead. People are having kidney failures. People are having heart issues. And you don't know they are associated with just the banana, the pawpaw, and the pineapples and things that you buy, maybe by the roadside, or you send somebody to the market to go and buy for you. So it affects both the rich and the poor. It's a very serious issue. So I want to join you to commend Professor Ani for this particular motion. Like Senator Palm said, this is probably one of the very, very most important motions in this chamber, brought by Senator Ani Antonio Correa. The practices of chemical ripening of fruits among fruit sellers in Nigeria, and sometimes among fruit producers, in an attempt to make quick money. They will just use chemicals to ripen the fruits. If you are going towards Akwanka, you see some of the fruits are dumped inside gutter with water, but they pour chemicals into those things. So they put them in the morning while they are coming to sell. Before evening, the ones that they put chemicals on have ripened, and they bring them out and sell in the night. So when you are eating, you won't know what is happening. And somebody gets some and probably starts having kidney issues or heart failure and will not know where the problems are coming from. In some communities, people have tried to associate those emergency illnesses to COVID vaccines. But this may be the real cause. You know, witchcraft is normal. Witchcraft is, nobody dies naturally in Nigeria except through witchcraft. Even accidents are caused by witchcraft. so that is normal. Even these fruits, when you buy and it poisons your system, it is witchcraft. So that is a general name that we give to death in Nigeria. But this issue is very serious. I think we should go beyond just mere motion. We should look at the provisions in NAFDAC Act and see whether there's anything we can do to tinker to ensure that we bring stiff punishment to those who practice this. If we don't send people to jail, this practice will not stop. So let's also look at your prayers and see whether we can put a possible place there where we can amend any of the laws that regulate this sector in order to bring very steep penalties toward people who engage in this, because it's a major, major killer that can happen to even children who will be most affected. Because children love fruits. Maybe on their way to school, on their way to primary school, and back from primary school or secondary school, they will buy fruits. They will not know the ones that are chemically produced, chemically ripened, and all that. It's a very, very serious issue. Thank you for bringing this to the fore. And I thank my colleagues for their contributions. Prayer 1, urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to investigate the practice of chemical ripening of fruits in Nigeria. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, FCCPC, to increase the level of awareness by continuous sensitization and public enlightenment on the hazardous implications of chemical ripening of fruits. I will only add National Orientation Agency. Can somebody move a motion to add National Orientation Agency as one of the agencies that should do the sensitization? Yes, Amos, Reverend.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain